What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. As you guys know, Phase 8 Season of Discovery has hit the PTR as of yesterday. We started getting a ton of data mined information, so in this video, I'm going to do a very quick breakdown of everything that we know so far, all of this new stuff that's coming for Phase 8. This phase might be a little bit bigger than we thought initially, so without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, we're going to start off with the new weapon models found on Season of Discovery Phase 8, the PTR. So starting off here, these are the models. It looks like a lot of them may have come from the Burning Crusade, which is pretty cool, right? Obviously, people have been crying for Assad TBC. Now it seems like we're getting a lot of these models in Phase 8 Season of Discovery right here. So a lot of them look pretty cool. This is really awesome. I love this mace that looks like the Hand of Rag, the gold version of it. We have some pretty cool daggers. Obviously, this was the King's Defender, one-handed tanking sword from Karazhan, I'm pretty sure. We have the other swords here. This spike shield with the blood on it looks pretty awesome. The Gladiator's staff, which really was one of my favorite staffs from the Burning Crusade. And then obviously the infamous blacksmithing one-handed mace right here, Dragon Maw, which is pretty cool. And then just a few other swords and things like that. The staff right here, which is going to be pretty iconic. We got a lot of cool stuff here. This shield, to me, is awesome. I love the design of this shield. It's kind of simple, but really scarlety and just looks awesome in my opinion. But just the models are not enough, right? We got some information on these actual weapons as well. So let's jump over to the next tab, which we're going to see some of the stats on these weapons, right? For one-handed axes, we have the Crimson Cleaver, which has a chance on hit for your next 2 instances of nature damage to be increased by 20%. We have the two-handed axe, Ravagane. With a chance on hit, you attack all nearby enemies for 9 seconds, causing weapon damage plus an additional 200 every 1.5 seconds. So pretty much like an upgraded version of the Ravager. We have daggers. We have the Reborn Dagger with a chance on hit to blast fire damage. Thal Khatun, the Unseen Guest, which is a caster dagger with 133 spell damage on it. We have Solistra, the Fang of the First Light. We have Sephoric Blade, which is another caster dagger there, and Queen's Fall, of course, with some interesting wording on it as well. At the bottom, it says, you will never be worthy enough to benefit from this blade. And then the 2-piece set with King's Fall and Queen's Fall says, the blades will never accept you as their master. Pretty interesting stuff right there. For fist weapons, we have Mercy, which is a main hand 2.9 speed fist weapon with a chance on hit for your next 2 instances of fire damage to be increased by 20%. We have some one-handed maces. Obviously, we have, this looks like the Dragon Maw, the blacksmithing hammer from TBC, Light Fist, to increase your attack speed by 10% for 15 seconds. Will of the Mountain, chance on hit, invoke the Will of the Mountain, increasing physical damage dealt by 5% and armor by 500. Once a mighty blacksmithing hammer, this truly stunning work of art is even more inspiring when you hold it. And then we have Spire of Sacrifice, which is a healing mace with 317 healing on it, which is absolutely insane. And then Tears Fall. With an equip effect, through dealing periodic damage has a 5% chance to grant 120 spell damage and healing for 15 seconds. And then a flat 169 spell damage on it. As for two-handed maces, we have the Kalad Boulder with a chance on hit to knock down all nearby enemies for 4 seconds. And then the Scarlet Smashbringer, increase the wielder's strength by 375 for 15 seconds, which is pretty insane. And then we have the Polearm Poleaxe of the Beast. Focus Fire now grants you and your pet 3% increased damage per stack consumed for 20 seconds, and 700 attack power in cat and bear forms for druids. As for swords, we have the main hand sword, like I said before, the King's Defender, which is now going to be called the High Commander's Guard, to increase your defense by 20 and armor by 750 for 10 seconds. Regicide, this blade does not respond to your presence, which is interesting. And then we have Deception and Duplicity, 2.9 speed swords, both one-handers, so they can be rocked in main or offhand. Equip, 3% chance on melee hit to gain 1 extra attack for both of them. And then the set bonus is Duplicity and Deception's extra attacks now trigger 2 extra attacks. So Sword Rogue is definitely going to be back on the table here, and I'm assuming Fury Warrior is going to be using these as well. And then we have Remnants of the Red, which is a caster sword, 157 spell damage. Dealing non-periodic fire damage has a 10% chance to increase your fire damage dealt by 10% for 20 seconds. So a good fire mage sword right there. And then we have the two-handed swords. We have the Inert Ashbringer. Attempt to make contact with the will of the Ashbringer inflicts the will of the Ashbringer upon the wielder. We have Invisible Sword with a chance on hit to increase your strength by 300 for 8 seconds. 3.4 speed sword there. We have Ashbringer itself. 3.0 speed, blasts a target for 700 fire damage with a chance on hit. Hilt of the Ashbringer inflicts the will of the Ashbringer upon the wielder. Increase your chance to get a critical strike by 1%. And then the on-use, attempt to make contact with the will of the Ashbringer. We have the Corrupted Ashbringer with 3.8 speed, 443 top-end damage, inflicts the will of the Ashbringer upon the wielder. 2% crit, chance on hit to steal 475 to 525 life from the target. This is going to be pretty beefy. The Calibog Sword. Then moving down, we have a legendary version of the Corrupted Ashbringer, which is sanctified, meaning I'm assuming we're going to be using our Seal of the Dawn buff inside the Scarlet Enclave as well, which this is 525 top-end damage, 3.8 speed, 3% crit, and it has that same lifesteal effect on it, and grants 30 strength or agility per enemy siphon, stacking up to 5 times. This weapon is out of control. As for range weapons, we have a gun, the Cluck Cannon, we have a throwing weapon, we have Strings of Fate, the bow, we have the Experiment 800M, and for stabs, we got some pretty cool ones as well. I'm going to kind of speed this up. I'll put links to all this stuff down in the description below. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever. There's so much stuff. We have some wands here if you want to pause it and take a look at the stats for any of that, and then the shields down at the bottom. Moving on to the next piece, we have the new Nightmare Grove loading screen for the Nightmare Dragons. Very cool. It looks like they're actually using that art team and getting some new art in the game. Again, guys, they wouldn't be doing this stuff if they weren't going to be using this for future projects. Keep that in mind. We have some new trinkets found, which I will link all of this again in the description below. I will quickly skim through this and look at some ones that maybe stand out, like the Hand of Reborn Justice, which gives you a 2% chance on melee or ranged hit to gain 1 extra attack, which is pretty nice. We have some healing trinkets here. Let's look at some of the epic ones. We have the Abandoned Experiment. After drinking this experiment, ranged or melee attacks increase your attack speed by 2% for 30 seconds, stacking up to 15 times, which is out of control. So I'm going to let you guys just pause this here and look at all these stats. I don't want to go too deep into this because, again, this video will be over an hour long if we do that. But keep in mind, guys, down at the bottom here, these trinkets are also sanctified. So I think this is hinting at the fact that we're going to be using our Seal of the Dawn buff going into the Scarlet Enclave. Moving on to the new mount model that's been data mined. This looks like pretty much like a Paladin epic mount, right? But it has that white, red, and gold scarlet, like regal look to it. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it'll look really good on Paladins. When you guys see the armor, you're going to understand why. I think it'll look really good with Paladins and Warriors. Plate wearers are going to look really good on this mount. Not really sure how this is going to look in terms of casters and stuff like that. I think it matches the plate wearer's armor a lot better. But either way, pretty cool that we see a new mount. Moving on to the new Scarlet Crusade themed sets that have been data mined for Phase 8. As you can see here, this looks like the Hunter tier, like the male tier set, the cloth set. This is pretty much the theme. As you guys can see, it's all red, gold, and white, which looks pretty cool for some classes, and for others, I'm not so sure about. But what I want to show you guys, the best one here is the plate set. It's basically a recolored version of the Onslaught set for Warriors from the Burning Crusade, right? Tier 6. I think this looks fantastic. So Paladins and Warriors are going to look absolutely awesome with this set equipped. And then just so you guys know, the next tier set that we're going to be getting in Scarlet Enclave, the set bonuses have been data mined. It is a lot of information. I'm not going to sit here and read through all of this with you. You guys can read it for yourselves. I will post a link down in the description below. We'll be here forever if I go through all this, but some of them really good, some of them not so much. I know my Shadow Priest friend is not too happy with his set bonuses, but as a warrior, I'm really loving mine. So I will link this down in the description. You guys can kind of dive in and take a look at all of your set bonuses coming with the new tier set. And then there were over 500 new items found for this phase, which is insane. This phase is going to be so much bigger than people thought. People have been moving around on the PTR. I haven't been on myself yet. Again, I've been pretty under the weather, so I'm sorry for my voice, by the way, guys. But I will be going on the PTR, putting another video out on that later today or tomorrow. But I just wanted to get this information out to you guys. There's a lot coming out. This phase is going to be a lot bigger than most people thought. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Share this video with anyone who might be on the fence about coming back. This looks like some really good stuff. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, jump over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. I stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you guys want to join an awesome Discord community, check out the Hammer Dance, the Tavern, the Hammer Dance Discord community down in the description below. I'll have a link for that as well. We will welcome you with open arms. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.